Our last couple videos have taken us down a rabbit hole of thought that had us touch on Genesis, Revelation, community, Prometheus, fire, and our follies. We went over aspects of light and how they can give knowledge, safety, warmth, and freedom, but also doom, pain, suffering, and death. While you don't need to have watched my previous videos to understand this one, I highly recommend you give them a watch in order to have a fuller understanding of all the themes we'll be going over. With that being said, let's continue down this rabbit hole of the mind. In this video, we will talk about a creature that has captured the minds and imagination of peoples immemorial, across every corner of the earth and every culture therein, a manifestation of our fears, desires, potential, and our end. How all this relates to the concept of light and what it can teach us about us as a species. Today, we talk about dragons. As mentioned just a second ago, dragons as a concept are not something relegated to just one continent or culture, but crosses almost every physical, spiritual, and linguistic barrier, from Central America to Africa, Asia, Europe. Everyone has an idea of what a dragon is, what they look like, and what they represent. Most of you probably think of a dragon as a large winged serpent creature with 4 legs, powerful muscles, living in caves, sitting upon large piles of gold and riches, and a penchant for eating virgin women. If you grew up in East Asia, your idea is a long flying serpent creature, sans wings, that holds wisdom beyond human comprehension, can grant wishes and knowledge to humans that gain their favor, and even carry truly enlightened humans to the realms beyond our own. In South America, dragons lose their scales and gain feathers, multicolored beasts of immense size. The Quetzalcoatl or Kukulkan, they are revered as grantors of life and feared as bringers of death. In Africa, the dragon regains its limbs, though is more bestial in appearance while keeping its serpentine qualities. They are aspects of the god Set or Seth. As such, they are omens of storms and violence. Regardless of where you grew up, or from whom you heard these stories, there is a through line that is rather consistent with all of these creatures. Aspects of their being that humans apply universally. Besides the most obvious, that they fly, are predators, and magical in some degree, the aspects we will be talking about are that these dragons always represent nature itself, either of cataclysmic danger or unbelievable benevolence. They always hold something humans desire or need, be it power, knowledge, riches, or even glory. And they almost always breathe fire. Dragons sit in a part of our psyche as beings of nature, more exactly the chaos of nature, the unpredictability of the world, be it potentially good or bad. The Norse have the serpent Jormungandr, the world snake. The Mayans have Kukulkan, the sun devourer. Mesopotamians have Tiamat, the primordial sea, and even the Judeo-Christian book of Revelation have their own 5-headed serpent of chaos. These beings tell the warning to humans of the utter destruction that can be wrought by the world, void of any reason or whim. Beyond any karmic effects human may or may not have sowed, the uncertainty of the dragon looms over us all. The apex predator. The dragon stands as the mightiest of foes and woes of our species. If left alone, it might, perhaps, keep to itself and slumber away in its resting place, forever undisturbed. Or it can, by no fault of ours, awake and cast its deathly vision across the lands in which we inhabit. Earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanoes, tornadoes, hurricanes, wildfires, all of these have been attributed to dragons and their wrath in our stories back in our history. We apply the deeds of nature itself to the being we see as the bringing of nature's chaos. Do not provoke it. Do not seek it out, unless you know for sure you can handle what happens next. When we hear of the great hero, mighty knight, enlightened warrior, or grand king go to confront the dragons of chaos in our stories, we already know the goal of our protagonist. The dragon, held deep in its lair or high on the mountaintop, holds the thing our protagonist seeks. And what is the prize a dragon holds? That depends. Riches, albeit a very bland goal, is an easy one to understand, thus why dragons usually hoard huge piles of treasure. Peace is another one, which is why many of our stories are of mighty dragon slayers. Knowledge, although less defined, can also be gained from the chaos of nature. A hero climbing to the peak of the mountain to confront the world and gain enlightenment is also a story we know quite well, especially in Asia where dragons are of more temperate nature. The purity of life through the means of a virgin maiden. Power through the gaining of a dragon's heart. Whatever we may wish to desire, all are held and kept by dragons, and we must stand before them and weather their might to gain it. But this is all easy to discuss, and so rarely do people in our tales succeed in leaving a dragon's resting place with their lives, let alone with the prize that they had sought. What about a dragon prevents just any hero, knight, warrior, or wise man from gaining what they need from a dragon? The answer is easy. Their fire. We already spoke about fire in our last video. It contains a duality for mankind, a bringer of life, knowledge, and safety, but it is a double-edged sword if left untamed, uncontrolled, and underestimated. It can burn the very person who harnessed it. Where the light and heat of a harnessed fire gives life for man, we cannot forget that the light and heat of an unbridled fire gives death. Those who approach the chaos of nature, the dragon, and attempt to bring that fire back to humanity, to seek the riches, the knowledge, the power of the natural world and subdue it, must be careful or else they fail, catastrophically so. So, our hero protects himself with the blessing of a god, or a grand legendary magic item, or as the chosen hero, pure of heart, the enlightened wise man close to the brink of nirvana. They and they alone can stand before a dragon's breath and survive, conquer the beast, and return with the spoils of its hoard. Though why? What is it about a dragon's fire that sets it apart? Is it the other part of the duality? Is it the other side of the coin of the flames of Prometheus or Amani or Maui? Those flames were already contained and subdued, brought back for us in a controlled state by a higher power. The flames of the dragon are the flames of chaos. Light is the truth of revelation, and fire the means to use it, and a dragon will use that against you. What would that do to a person? Well, we already know what revealing aspects of yourself which you want to hide can do to you. Those sins and lies a person builds inside their soul, we can slowly remove those, disinfect our spirits with the sunlight of the truth. But this is not what a dragon does with their light, with their fire. Bathed in the light of truth while unprepared will burn you completely, body and soul. Just as many tales say that looking upon the true form of a god will kill you, leave you a husk of your former self. The brighter the truth, the more you will burn. The more you sin, the more mistruth built upon yourself and your spirit, the more fuel you provide the fire of truth. Like gasoline, you feed the flames. When standing before the light of chaotic fire, one must have special qualities in order to survive. As said before, in most stories, this is done through divine means, the blessing of a god, a divine item to shield them from the consuming light of the truth. Or a pure-hearted hero, one who does not contain sins and lies and darkness inside them, one who does not have anything for the light of truth to burn. The enlightened warrior and the true hero are the only ones to conquer the dragon, because they are the only ones not to be burnt by its flames. No matter how bright the light of revelation, if you are pure of heart, you may withstand the storm. You may rise above the tsunami and weather the shaking of the world itself. You can conquer chaos and bring back the treasures of nature to humanity. But to do so, you must brave the hardships of the world that it sets upon you. Stand tall in the face of the chaos of the dragon, and, under no fear, let yourself be bathed in the trials of truth and revelation. And that, my dear listeners, is why dragons breathe fire. If you liked this series, make sure to subscribe for more and share it with your friends. This has been a blast to make for you all, and I hope you learned something about how humanity tells its stories. For we have yet to go through even a fraction of the tales of our species. Many myths and legends lay before us in the tales of our history, so stick around for the next video soon. What should we discuss next though? The Fountain of Youth, King Midas, Orpheus, Jacob's Ladder. Tell me what you want to see next in the comments below. And of course, thank you, listeners.